Mm. Hmm. Welcome. Welcome. How is everyone doing today? Hang on here. There we go. And there we go. And we did. So, hoping everyone's just wanted to, of course, I just want to pop on here. There's this morning if you caught my little snippet of a video, I was in I was going to therapy. I need that too. I was going to physio this morning, and I either catch the bus too late or too early, whichever. And we, I always say we, but as I got dropped off, I thought, oh my god, it's like I'm 30 minutes early. So I mean, either sit in the waiting room or go walk around. So I shuffled my way around, and it's right by the university campus, and it's beautiful. Like our campus is it's quite nice. It's a very beautiful campus. So I went to the university campus. Didn't walk all the way in there. I'd probably get lost because it's changed a hell of a lot since I took a couple classes there, right? So I took a walk around the campus and everything, and then went to my physio and came home, and then had a little bit of brekkie. So I'm just giving you my what I've done today. Had a little bit of brekkie, and then from the brekkie, we decided it is Free Slurpee Day. Did you know that? Free Slurpee Day? So we took Matthias to the 7-Eleven just up the road and took the dog for a walk. And he got to spin the wheel. He got a free mug, traveler's mug, and they got some other things and a cupcake and. So they got a free Slurpee and everything else, so which was really cool. And yeah, that was yeah, that did me in. From the physio, and I got cupping today done. If anybody doesn't know what cupping is, it's like they put like a little suction cup on your back, and there's a lot of that you can do on my back. Trust me, there's a lot extra. Anyways, they did that, but it helps to relieve a lot of the tension and get the blood flowing to certain parts. And so that was extremely helpful. Oh, and it relieved a lot of pain. She gave me I have 5 exercises and stuff I have to start doing in the morning, which is great because I need to start doing that. I haven't I used to have a yoga routine to do in the morning, and I'm probably gonna start that back up again because when Eddie goes to work, once he goes to work, then I can do my living room. So I wanna change this up because I get up, do work, get on there, do your work. And and yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't like it. I mean, I actually do love it. It's just part of my regime. And just diving in to see, after doing my morning prayers and stuff like that, finding out I try not to see all the craziness that's happening in the world, but yeah, there's a huge ton of crap that's hitting the fan right now, and a lot of it's not brought to the news, which is, that gets shuffled underneath the carpet, and people aren't paying attention. They're not paying, and a few of it comes up through TikTok and things like that. And so it's, listening to the crazies. And then I just thought, okay, let me take a moment and take a look at, like I kind of know where the moon is. I know it's in um Aquarius. But this is where I started to feel like, okay, there's a lot happening in the world, and I know there's a lot happening in the world and the crazy in the world. But this is where I feel There's such a dramatic frequencies, and especially coming off of this full moon, and it's very much in tune with how I'm feeling of being suspended in motion while the world is just whizzing around. That's why this morning I was talking about stepping into the vortex, right? You step into that energy. And Abraham Hicks talks about it. If you don't know who Abraham Hicks, you can Google, look it up. But Abraham Hicks talks about it and stepping into that vortex. It means when you step into the vortex, you're stepping into the eye of peace. You're stepping into where everything is whirling around you, yet you can go into a place where it is peaceful. And let let's unravel, like it's like unraveling that energetic murmur and what's bubbling beneath the surface. So, with the sun still in Cancer and the Aquarius moon, and it's opposite Mercury in Leo, and so there's thoughts and feelings are battling for airtime. Mercury's slowing down because it's going to be going retrograde in 6 days. This is where I feel like the hums, and Aquarius is very a hummy kind of frequency because it's ruled by Saturn. So there's this sort of hum that goes on there, and it's old rulers Uranus. So we have this vibration that's happening, and it's holding emotional tension. And this is while you're trying to analyze it all and detach, like really detach from it all. Like this is where you start to look at the analytical. It's how am I trying to say? It's analytical, and as you detach and as you observe, but it's hitting Mercury and the sun, and in comes some really uncomfortable truths that start to arise. And the Mercury Uranus, the Leo and Taurus energy, but Uranus has just moved into to Gemini. This is electrical. Like even though it's gone into Leo, it's still there's that tension of a square. And I feel like there's quite shifts in conversation, technology, and communication. And there's glitches. There's a lot of glitches. If you haven't seen, there's been a lot coming out about robots. Um, they have they had these robots playing soccer, which was hilarious. And then they have this robot running with children being the next, your child's playmate. They have dogs, these little cute dogs. They're so cute, but they're not real. These little cute fake dogs, and you know, they follow you and you can take them out and stuff like that, but they're not real. They're robot dogs. I mean, we used to have them when I was a kid, but they're kind of like remote control. So these ones are quite advanced from that. Uh, and I was talking to my physio girl, and I said, the other thing that I saw on when I was looking at a lot of technology stuff and things that are coming through as technology is, and I know they already have it, is like a physio place, like where I go into, there's no check-in. There's like a podium, and you go in, and there is robots in that behind that. If you have a question or whatever, it's kind of like AI robots. But you basically sign in from there. All your bookings and everything's all done online. You don't even, it's even when you go into the movie theater. I mean, it's there now. You don't, when you go to the movie theater, if anybody's gone recently, you don't, there's is a ticket person there, but you buy all your tickets online. You do everything online. Or you go up to this booth, which is where you buy it from, right? Very similar to how McDonald's and everything is. And I said, I know for a lot of places like physios and Cairo and massage places, they don't have receptionists anymore. And, that's part of the new technology. That's part of the, how things are changing. A lot of people are going to hang on to the old. I mean, I have a doctor that still handwrites his prescriptions. And my when I took the prescriptions in for because my husband had to get his prescription. This is a month ago or so, and the pharmacist got pissed off. He says he still hand writes it, and I'm like, yeah. Well, he should be doing this all up on computer. I'm like, okay, you tell him. Well, in some incidents, probably good because some doctors' handwriting's just shit, right? But this is where a lot of things are coming in, but then there's these little glitches that are coming in. So you're going to be finding a lot of glitches when it comes to technology and everything, especially with Mercury and Leo and retrograding. And then you have, Uranus in going back into from Aries or Uranus into Gemini. It's there's this little glitches and plus the secrets. That's the other thing that was getting to me. Secrets are going to come out not in a dramatic flash, but in slips, offhanded comments, sudden realizations. So things that you think are not coming out, or things that you think they're buried, they're done, nothing's gonna there's gonna be like something. It's like when you're trying to bury something, it just you just can't bury because it just surfs up somehow, bubbles up, right? It's like a kid trying to hide something in the bedroom, and it just sort of pops out or bubbles up because it's just you just can't hide it anymore. So there's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna be coming up and floating up to the surface, and it might take a little bit to decipher the information that comes in. And we also have the Mars and the Virgo, the Mars in Virgo, Uranus, in Gemini, the energy to try to act logically and cleanly, but in the trine makes it sharper, faster, perhaps too fast, right? Because Mars just wants to go and just get it done. So there's a brewing need to organize the chaos, but it might spill over suddenly and think, a tidy room with a rattling closet door, or people who have, you've seen those cartoons or even those shows where they have that one room and they sort of slip something in and close it quickly. Kind of like that. I feel like there's been a lot of things been trying to slip into a closet that is just so overfull that it's just going to spill out. And we're kind of feeling that, like there's something that it's like almost like something has to burst. Yesterday, when I was watching, I don't know if any of you watch Tim Pool. I watched Tim Pool. Anyways, I was watching him last night, and he got, breaking news that these guys, I mean, this is the other thing, is like ICE was doing their job, and a lot of people may not like ICE or may not like what they're doing, but they have a job, right? This is their job. They're doing their job. And these guys, and there's like groups of organized people, kind of like, I don't know, like, are they militia? Are they terrorists? But they're all wearing basically kind of the same clothes, their face, they have the balaclava, whatever it's called, on their faces are all covered. And he's shooting at them, right? I mean, this is like, you don't think there's a revolution happening in the States, but there is. There is. There's definitely a revolution happening. There are people rebelling and, wanting California to be Mexico again. Ain't gonna happen, but that's what they want. And so there's, this rebellion that's happening. Free the immigrants, free these people. And a lot of the guys that they're picking up aren't very nice guys. Everybody might think they're nice, but they're not nice. They might be like, oh, that's your nice little gardener dude. But that gardener dude, that's just kind of a front for everything else he's doing or everything else he might be affiliated with. We're not privy to it, but other people on the other with the law are. But anyways, I digress. That's the craziness of some of the murmurs that are coming out at this time. So we have that. Then we have that Venus, and she's in Gemini, and she's squaring over to Neptune in Pisces. So it's murky and, romance and foggy and desires and confusion and financial decisions. God help us. Gold just went up again. Um, That's over, well, of course, it's over $3,000 an ounce, but it's like it just went up again. But you may be longing, this is what I feel like I'm longing for, a sangria sunset dream, while reality is knocking at the door with a bill. The energy whispers is this real or am I just imagining it all? That's what I feel. I I just wanna go and escape it all right now. It has oh my goodness. Um, I'm finding it difficult with a lot of things in my life at this time. Not only when it comes to my body and, even when I look back to at me filming, I look like a fucking old lady walking. I was just like, "That's not how I felt, but that's how I was walking," you know? And it is one of those things that with these shifts and with this energy that's happening, the scary part is, um, putting that trust and that faith into saying, "You know what? There's not much I can do right now when it comes to how my body is and how things are unfolding." But looking at the energies too, it is like there's that murkiness that's there within the world around us. And Pluto and Aquarius, and then you have Venus and Gemini, there's secrets around love, power, jealousy, or manipulation. Something is there. The financial world is, is something undergoing silence transformation. Even with TikTok, how what's going to happen with TikTok is going to be extremely interesting because whoever buys TikTok because they want to make an American TikTok. I mean, there's a Chinese version and stuff, but just an American version with American algorithm, right? So basically, um, with just, I guess, with American on there, I don't know. There's going to be a change with. I don't get any money from TikTok. I'm getting money from YouTube either. Like and subscribe, please. Um, it's how these are changing. It feels like almost like if the United States wants to buy the tick, are they trying to close themselves off from the rest of the world? Especially when it comes to social media and stuff. Because right now it's like, you on TikTok, you can scroll away. It's kind of like, not as good as what Periscope was, because Periscope you could bring up the map and then I could go to Ireland or wherever. One day I was like, it was in the afternoon. I'm like, oh, what's happening in Ireland? And it ended up in a pub in Ireland and they're dancing and singing. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so cool. And it was live, you know, but that's just, you can visit or you can see different influencers from around the world doing their thing, right? Whether they're from England or Germany or, Africa. Sometimes you get these lovely people, these kids doing these little dances. I mean, it takes a lot to do some of those productions that they do. I'm just like, that is amazing. That is, you know, absolutely fabulous. So there's that. So how is that going to change? So there's that. There's, a lot going to be changing when it comes to our social media. And what's our social media going to, and especially within the next, I'm going to say within the next 6 months, um, how things are, even how YouTube and how you're getting your videos. And they're not going to be videos or whatever they're going to call them. There's another name. Pretty sure Snapchat, you can go in and find people. Yeah, you can go in and find people if they're your friends. Like you got to be in a friends group or something with Snapchat. Snapchat's just there. I don't know. I guess there's still a lot of millennials use Snapchat. That's their go-to is Snapchat. So when you look at who's on Snapchat, it's a lot of millennials that are on the Snapchat. And they're coming up into their they're coming up into what? Their mid 30s, some of them, so they're getting up there, some of them closer to 40. So those millennials are getting fucking old. They're not the young little spring chickens or the ones that the hip ones that they used to think they were. So with that, we have Saturn, and it's in Aries. And this is like recognizing your daily life, your boundaries, your energy, management. And it's going to be going retrograde. Um, and this is like I'm grinding forward and more why am I doing this like this? Do I even want to? So this is like you're going to be finding a lot of people questioning, why am I doing what I'm doing? Is it worth me continuing doing what I'm doing? Is this worth it? Before my mom died, I she was laying in bed and I was helping her out, and and then she goes, "What a crazy life we live! Like, you know, why did we sign up for all of this, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, very true. It is a crazy life." She goes, "No." She goes, "Like, even like, why are we hanging on to all of this? Like, why is dad still hanging on to the house? Why are we still hanging on to all of these things?" And I'm like, "That's a good question." And, it was one of those things where she was like looking at where I think she'd rather have been in a home than have stayed in her own home near the end. Um, just because it would have been more social for her and she would have been able to get out more, it seemed. But dad was w- he was a Leo, so he was very controlling of his surroundings and the people and who came into the house and the whole bit. We all think Leos are just like passive people and want to know they're very controlling when it comes to their environment and who comes in and who doesn't come in. I mean, it's a cat, right? You don't want to piss off a cat if you enter their territory and you're not supposed to be there. So, but this is looking at, I'm grinding forward. Why are you grinding? Is this the grind you want to be grinding? And I feel like this is how coming off this moon is getting us to really look at these questions within our own selves and getting with the secret and the sudden clarities. Mercury with an opposition to the moon and Uranus, the square, it stirs the pot. Mystical confusion with Venus and Neptune, the haze. Everything feels like a dream that you're half remembering. And I think we're going through this kind of weirdness within the Earth's shift. Like, how I see it is that the Earth is going through this kind of like a section, we'll call it. And the Earth is going through this section before we're heading into this kind of like new light, but it's sort of this section is kind of dark. And as we're going through this section, this is where we're going to be having really odd dreams. Things are going to be feeling a little bit off. We're going to be feeling, you know, um, it's almost kind of like a clearing, like I'm going to say a clearinghouse, like everything's clearing out and we're clearing all of this of what no longer is needed. And this is where a lot of people are going to start going, whoa, squirrely. Something just dropped in my eye. And where things are going to feel really squirrely and where we're going to feel that, is this really the direction we want to go into? Right? Because the thing is, I got to get my hair. Okay, see, watch this. This piece needs to go. Then it's going to stick up. This thing is like um these parts that we want to hang on to that are needing to go, and this is where people are going to have a heck of a time. It reminds me of a drug addict of, yeah, I want to get clean, but I like the high. Well, why do you like the high? Right? You got to get to the root of why they like the high. Um and they don't want to move to that newness because, one, you're not going to get that kind of high anymore. It's not going to be there. And you have to start dealing with a new reality, a new world that you haven't had to deal with before. So you have to really start to learn how to work with it, how to um deal with it, how to deal with the new emotions that pop up with it all, where it's easier to just go into the escape and go to into the escapism instead of having to step into that newness and allow for that shedding, that clearing to happen with that. So we have that, I mean, that we're going through. And I think as we're coming into this weekend, we're going to be really feeling that, and it's going to be a feeling that we're going to have for a little bit as we're sort of shaking everything off and clearing everything into this new direction. And Libra, you know, I feel like there's something to do with that balancing with Libra and the Cancer. So the emotional contrast of stillness inside while the world moves on and and continually on. So take some time today. This is part of the ritual for today. Sit with a drink that feels sacred. Well, right now I'm drinking coffee. It could be a margarita. It could be a herbal tea or a sangria. Whatever you feel is sacred for you, take that, and write a note to your future self 3 months from now. And here's what I was figuring out. So, date it today, write yourself a letter, and write it for yourself in 3 months from now. Let the murmur be a part of that message. Trust that not all clarity arrives with the thunder. And then let it go. Let it go. And that's what I'm going to be doing once I come off here. Is I'm going to take some time and I'm going to write myself a little letter and trust in it all as we're moving through a new part, a new wave, a new section in this cosmic world. So there you go. I want you guys to have a blessed one, and may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless you all. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.